All right, let's talk about something that's on every early stage founder's mind. How do you actually land that first crucial check? Today, we're going to ditch the old advice and give you a practical playbook for connecting with the investors who are actually writing those first checks.
So, you're in the trenches, right? You're building something you believe in from absolute scratch. And now you've hit that point. You need a little bit of capital to pour some fuel on the fire. It's a make or break moment for so many startups. But here's the tough truth that a lot of founders learn the hard way. Those giant, famous VC firms, the ones with the fancy offices and the massive funds, they're probably not going to be your first investor. It's just not how their business model is set up.
And that means that the playbook you've been reading about online, the one for raising a big Series A, it just doesn't apply here. To get that first check, you need a completely different approach, one that's designed for a very different type of investor.
Okay, so let's dig into this. The biggest mistake we see is this fundamental mismatch. Founders are using tactics for traditional committee-run VCs, but they're pitching a whole new breed of investor, solo capitalists and micro VCs. And this, right here, this is the whole game. Traditional VCs need to get a whole partnership to agree, which is slow and requires a perfect, polished story. Solo capitalists, they operate on pure, individual conviction. Their entire advantage is being able to move fast, sometimes making a decision in just a few days based on their gut instinct. So what actually builds that conviction? It's not a slick PowerPoint deck. It's what we call sharp signals. And what are those? Well, it's tangible proof you're getting things done. It's showing that you're learning at a crazy fast pace. And it's proving you found a real, painful problem and you have a unique way of solving it. And that brings us right to the first pillar of our Builder's Playbook. You have to pitch the person, not the firm. Your whole mindset has to shift because at the end of the day, you're dealing with an individual human being. I mean, really let this quote sink in. The moment you realize you're not trying to win over a boardroom, but just connect with one person, everything changes. It stops being a formal presentation and starts being a real conversation, where your goal is to earn one person's belief in you. So your communication has to reflect that. Your emails, your updates, your calls, they need to be direct, personal, and completely free of corporate fluff and jargon. Just talk to them like a fellow builder. Show them who you are as a founder, not just the company you're trying to build. Which leads us perfectly into our second pillar. And this one is all about redefining what a pitch even means to this audience. Forget the polish. It's all about substance. You have to remember, a lot of these investors were engineers or product managers themselves. They have seen hundreds of visionary decks. What actually gets their attention, what makes them lean in, is seeing something that's real and already working, even if it's a little rough around the edges. They care about motion. This is the builder's pitch in 3 simple, powerful steps. First, just show them the thing you've made. Then, talk about the specific, non-obvious things you've learned from building it. And finally, show them how real people are actually reacting to it. It's a simple formula that's way more convincing than any 20-page deck. And look, if you're a technical founder, this is your absolute superpower. The fact that you can actually build the thing you're talking about is a huge de-risker. So lean into it. Show them the raw but working prototype. Talk about the tough trade-offs you made, the bugs you squashed, the user feedback that made you change everything. That's the stuff they want to hear. Okay, on to our third and final pillar. Momentum is the message. This is about playing the long game, using your steady progress to pull investors into your orbit instead of just pushing a single pitch at them. This is a huge mindset shift. When you're dealing with these kinds of conviction-based investors, a no isn't always a final rejection. A lot of the time, it's just a not yet. It means they're intrigued, but they need to see more signals. Your job is to just keep building and keep showing them that progress. So this is what that relationship looks like in practice. It starts with one short personal email. But the real magic happens in the follow-ups. A quick update every few weeks, hey, we just shipped this, or we learned this surprising thing, builds a narrative of execution over time. And eventually, that narrative is what builds the conviction that makes them reach back out to you. And what you're creating here is something you can think of as magnetic momentum. It's this undeniable feeling that your project is moving forward with pace and focus. It makes smart investors feel like they need to pay attention because they don't want to miss out. Your momentum does the pitching for you. So let's bring this all home. When you're trying to raise that first check,
Your biggest advantage isn't a fancy network or a silver tongue. It's the work itself. It's what you build. Here's the ultimate takeaway from all this. Stop stressing about crafting the perfect shiny pitch. Instead, focus all that energy on turning your execution, the things you build, the lessons you learn, the pivots you make, into a compelling story. That narrative of smart, visible progress is what cuts through the noise. So, as we wrap this up, the real question to ask yourself isn't, is my pitch deck good enough? The question is this. Right now, today, is the work I'm doing telling a story that a smart investor simply can't afford to ignore?